afford to be divided. No one nation, no matter how large or powerful, can defeat such challenges alone. None of us can deny these threats or escape responsibility in meeting them.
It was a message of hope and unity from U.S. presidential candidate Barack Obama in Berlin. The senator delivered the rousing speech as part of his week-long tour of Europe and the Middle East. The visit is largely aimed at bolstering his foreign policy credentials ahead of the U.S. election in November. And joining us now from Washington is Solon Simmons. He is a political analyst and professor at George Mason University. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Seamus, for having me.
You know, 200,000 people show up there, and 3 out of 4 Germans want to see him become the next president of the United States, but they're not the ones who are going to be voting in November. How's this trip going over with Americans?
Well, that's the big question. You know, nobody else, I think, in the world, certainly no American, can pull that kind of crowd in Germany. And it suggests what a big story this is. And yet, at stake, really, is Barack Obama's patriotism, which is the issue that's going to play more in Berlin, Wisconsin, than in Berlin, Germany. And so these are the states, the battlegrounds, places like Virginia as well, where many people have never been to Germany and are somewhat suspect. That being said, this was at least a triple, if not a home run, and not in a regular game, but in the World Series. This is the major stage for presidents to appear on. And why does a candidate who has not been elected yet get this stage? We're all trying to figure it out. It's extremely impressive, and this is a new kind of figure, whatever you might think about Barack Obama.
What impressions did you take from the actual substance of his speech? I mean, you know, what indications do we have of what a foreign policy under Barack Obama, were he elected president of the United States, what that policy would look like?
Well, there are two major themes that I see, and the first is the overt one, what I call the burdens of global leadership, or global citizenship, that he used as a line, which suggests that he would like to reintegrate with the world and become a somewhat different kind of president than George Bush has been. A German wag said that this is more of an exorcism than an election for the Germans. So that notion of engaging the world, we saw that with respect to nuclear arms. Somewhat surprising that Barack Obama suggested that he would try to eliminate nuclear weapons in the world, not simply in Iran, but also presumably in the United States. The second theme was a little more under the text and has to do somewhat with his race. Some of the biggest applause lines were about breaking down the walls between races and tribes. But I think the story beneath that is not necessarily only about race, but also about redemption. Redemption in the American context, redemption for the sins, if you will, of slavery, but redemption in the global context. I think he wants to reignite an idea of America. You know, someone had said that the United States didn't have ideologies, it was one, and that is the idea of the United States, and that is what he's trying to reproject into the world, and Berlin is a great place to do it because it is the metaphor for global citizenship.
Last one, Mr. Simmons, just want to get this in because a lot of people talking today, including Charles Krauthammer in Washington, saying the biggest coup for him has to be the fact that the Prime Minister of Iraq, al-Maliki, has agreed pretty much with the timetable that Barack Obama is supporting going into this campaign, a withdrawal of U.S. troops within 16 months.
Yeah, and this is what I would call, and what psychologists have called pre-persuasion. What a great pre-persuader he is, in the sense that he frames the events, he creates events on the ground, and we all react to them. And Maliki, I think, was pressured in the local context. Who wants to have occupying forces in your country?
Yeah.
Who can be a president and say, get out, and please stay and occupy us? He was a bit trapped, I think. He probably wouldn't want to betray the Bush administration, who put him there, but nevertheless, Barack Obama is really, he's creating the story for us.
Yeah, very interesting. Mr. Simmons, thank you very much for your context and for your analysis. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Seamus.